Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday morning vlog. We are not in Studio A.
We are actually currently in our backyard, but we're off on an adventure on a Sunday morning.
That's right. We are heading down to the Springs Preserve, which is 5 minutes from the place where we used to live, all the way on the other side of town.
And we are going to visit Toytopia. It's an exhibit that just opened yesterday, and we're very excited to go see some nostalgic toys.
All right, let's fire up the truck, because this adventure starts right now. In case you haven't heard of it, the Las Vegas Springs Preserve is a 180-acre complex on Valley View Boulevard west of the Strip. It is literally the place where it all began. When a scouting party back in 1829 found the lush meadows and springs here, made it a stop on the old Spanish Trail route, and named the place Las Vegas. Las Vegas means the meadows in Spanish. And this is where Las Vegas started. All because of a couple little strings. This wonderful attraction you see today opened in 2007, and we also did a comprehensive video on the whole property in 2019, and we can leave a link to that in the description box below, because there is a lot to see here. It's open these days from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
A little breezy today.
The Springs Preserve has been on the National Register of Historic Places since 1978. When this cultural institution opened almost 3 decades later, it incorporated thousands of native Mojave Desert plants into the design. The Botanical Garden is one of our favorite things about being here, and in fact, this garden has won the Award for Garden Excellence from Horticultural Magazine. Cacti, succulents, wildflowers, big rocks, and trickling water. Who says the desert isn't beautiful? And we are just in time for the prickly pears. They are perfectly ripe. As you can see, there is definitely a lot to the Springs Preserve, and the Springs Amphitheater is right here in the center of the campus. 13,000 square feet with tiered seating and a raised stage, and you can even rent it out for an event. All right, we could get distracted and keep wandering all day, but we are here on a mission.
Well, hey everyone, we are at Springs Preserve as promised, and we are actually standing outside the Origin Museum. We are going to go play with some toys at the Toytopia exhibit, just opened yesterday, and we're almost the only ones here. I can't wait to go in and play.
The Origin Museum's name derives from the words original and generations. The Origin has permanent exhibits, an indoor theater, and traveling exhibit space, and that's where we're headed to today. But first, it's a life-size dollhouse, complete with true-to-scale accessories.
Okay, for every little girl that ever loved dolls and dollhouses, this is awesome.
Toytopia just made its debut here on September 18th and runs until January 3rd, 2022. All right, let's go in. The Toytopia exhibit was created by Stage 9 Design out of Sacramento, California. It traces the development of history of the world's most iconic toys from the dawn of the 20th century up to modern day. These little vignettes by decade spotlight popular toys of that time period, and for all the adults in the room, it's a big dose of happy nostalgia. Step around the decades display and into a fantasy land of oversized toys, a veritable toy hall of fame. We are all kids again in this room, I can tell you that. This Lego play area features a train running through a Lego landscape. The Lego block was invented in Denmark way back in 1949, and I can't imagine a world where there's not a Lego. Say hello to the world's largest Etch-a-Sketch. It's nearly 8 feet tall. Etch-a-Sketch was invented in France and first hit the market here in 1960. Now this is a big piano, just like the one in F.A.O. Schwartz. Now tell me you don't want to step on it and play Heart and Soul. Who played Battleship when you were a kid? We've been playing it since the 1960s. And Monopoly, published by Parker Brothers back in 1935. We would still risk it all for Boardwalk or Park Place. Plus, you can actually sit inside this life-sized car for a photo op. Okay, we really like this display. Toys invented by accident, like the Slinky, back in 1943 by a naval engineer playing with a spring. Silly Putty in that same year was invented by an engineer at General Electric and was sold in plastic eggs because it was close to Easter. Play-Doh in 1956, what used to be a household cleaner in the 1920s. The Frisbee in 1948, that started life as a bakery pie tin. Now that, my friends, is called Vision. Tin toys. Now these are historic. First made in the late 1800s from thin sheets of steel plated with tin, they were a cheap and durable substitute for wood. Germany was the first major producer until World War I, when the US and Japan took their turns. But tin ended up losing to plastic in the 1950s. Now, they're vintage. OMG, another iconic moment from the movie Big. It's Zoltar. Fortune-telling machines have been around for more than a century at arcades and amusement parks, and as you'd expect, there was tie-in merch as well. Put in a coin and learn about your future, either spoken or on a fortune card.
I want to be skinny again. Zoltar.
I am Zoltar, at your service. Listen closely to my instructions now. Hard work pays off over time, but laziness, it pays off right now.
Toytopia has an exhibit that gives a nod to movies about toys, but none is more well known than the classic Toy Story series of movies. The first installment from Pixar Animation debuted in 1995 as the very first entirely computer-animated feature film. Now Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and the whole gang are an indelible part of our pop culture. Last stop, the arcade, where we are transported back to the 1980s with classic games that you can actually play. Now here's a fun fact. Back in 1978, Space Invaders was the very first game to save your high scores and also the first to use a music score to influence your emotions as you play. A year later, Atari's Asteroids and Lunar Lander were the first two video games to ever get a copyright. Asteroids is still Atari's best-selling arcade game of all time. Interspersed among the toys themselves are panels that describe the incredible value and power of play, particularly in childhood. This panel defines unstructured play, where you make up your own rules, and structured or guided play like board games and puzzles. Playing strengthens the body, stimulates the mind, expands creativity, reduces stress, and just makes us happy. We are both suckers for a gift shop at any kind of venue like this. It draws us like a magnet. The Springs Preserved gift shop used to be on the first floor below the Divine Cafe, but it is now moved to Origin. The merchandise and the arrangement of it are award-winning. It earned a Best Souvenir Shop award from the Review Journal, and Culture Trip named it among the 10 best places to buy souvenirs in Las Vegas.
Never too early for Christmas, is it? Not for me, it's not. All right, tell me your sad saga about how bad you want this.
Oh, the radio's behind me.
Yeah.
I was in Kingman, Arizona. We were in there a couple years ago, and I found a wooden horse that I really wanted, and they couldn't find the guy who owned it. It was in an antique store, and it was fairly cheap. We couldn't find the guy. They have it right here at the Springs Preserve. I love this.
Step aside, let me show everybody. What do you think?
$500.
Should we take up a collection?
Yeah.
There's books and plants, dinosaurs and goblins, Halloween and Christmas. We actually spent $50 in 5 minutes. And I just have to show you this adorable apron, perfect for a future guest on Paula's Kitchen. All right, I didn't get the horse, but I did add this to my stuffed animal collection.
All right, we just left the Toytopia, I think it's called. Oh my gosh, going back in time, I'm telling you, I felt like a little kid again. If you live in Las Vegas, you gotta come and check it out, and bring your kids too. But you gotta come and check it out because it is fantastic, and it's all worth the price of admission because it's only one price. Get in, do the whole thing.
The Divine Cafe is near the entrance to the Springs Preserved, and in fact, the stairs take you right out to the parking lot. The cafe is nearly 7,000 square feet of indoor and outdoor dining space, and with all these windows, you've got a fabulous 180-degree view of the whole campus and the Las Vegas skyline. We chose to have our lunch inside today, and we just love this big, bright, and airy dining room. But there is a lot to be said for al fresco dining, especially when the temperatures begin to drop. Check out the patio.
And here we are on the Divine Cafe patio, a view of the whole Springs Preserve, and there's Las Vegas. Swing around, and we've got our Sunday brunchers.
The Divine Cafe menu features brunch items, sandwiches, salads, and pizzas, and it's all fresh made on site. In fact, those folks also do the catering for all the private events here at the Preserve. I went for the Divine, an Angus beef burger with a side salad. And Paula got brunch, the croque monsieur and some tater tots. Everything was delicious and fresh and terrific service as well.
Sunday brunch at the Divine Cafe. We are digging in.
The cafe is open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day.
All right, we just finished our dinner at the cafe. It was terrific, right?
Oh, that food was amazing, and we had wonderful service as well.
We hopped in the truck, we got back on the I-15, and now we're back home.
We are, although I have to give a shout out. We met several of you at the Divine Cafe, locals, and what a delight that was.
We met so many of you today. We ran out of giveaways.
We did. We need to go to the Springs Preserve more often.
So let me just say that this was they said this was for kids, but I think I had more fun than any kid that was there.
It's a nostalgic trip down Toyland for all of us that grew up basically in the 20th century, because that's the toys they featured.
Yeah, because the toys nowadays they're all online.
Everything's electronic.
Yeah, electronic.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, seeing that robot from Lost in Space, oh, that brought back memories. I can't even tell you.
And I love that big dollhouse at the entrance. That dollhouse is charming.
It was really well done. Big thumbs up to the Springs Preserve for putting this all together, and I hope it's a huge success. There weren't a lot of people there when we got there, but as we were leaving, it started to fill up.
It did. Sunday afternoon, I think, is a popular time to go, so we were glad we got in there a little earlier.
All right, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification button. Anything else, Paula?
I think that's it. We will see you Wednesday for Paula's Kitchen.
Hope you had a good time. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.